Hi, my name is Joseph Machta. I'm the first author of this poster. Thank you very much for clicking to watch the audiovisual presentation of it, and I'm so sorry that I couldn't be there today. Hello from Australia. So, this study was a questionnaire survey of attitudes towards ergonomics and endoscopy, and it's a national survey done by us, the BSPGHAN Endoscopy Working Group, towards all working endoscopists in pediatric gastroenterology who are members of BSPGHAN. So what is ergonomics? Ergonomics is the study and optimization of the endoscopist's interaction with their endoscopy environment. It's how we position ourselves, it's how we hold our scope, it's how we approach the bed and the patient and the table and the stack and the team around us, and with a specific view to reducing the rate of endoscopy-related injury. Now, that's been studied and established in adult gastroenterology before, and in pediatric gastroenterologists in the USA, and in one study in Europe. But there are no available data on this subject in the UK pediatric endoscopy population. So we thought it would be good to have a look at what's happening in terms of what people's ergonomic practices are and what the rate of endoscopy-related injury is. Now, this is ever increasingly more looked into topic, and on the back of the interest in it, a core curriculum presenting best practice recommendations for ergonomics has been produced by the American Society of Gastrointestinal Endoscopy, which has shown and highlighted the importance of optimizing factors such as positioning, as I mentioned, height of the table, simple things that we might not think about or we might already think about. But there are no current European guidelines for pediatric endoscopy as yet. So hopefully this study will provide the impetus to at least produce the British version of that. So what was the aim? It was to ascertain attitudes towards ergonomics in endoscopy, whether people know about it, what they're doing about it, what ergonomic practices people are already undertaking, and the prevalence, nature, and risk factors for endoscopy-related injury, or ERI, in the BSPGHAN pediatric endoscopist population. So how do we do this? We put together a 26-point questionnaire that was distributed to all members of BSPGHAN via email and social media, which focused on 3 sections: who the respondents were and what their experience in endoscopy was, any history of injury related to endoscopy, and previous experience with ergonomic modification in endoscopy. And these were our results. We had 65 respondents, which was a response rate of 20.1% out of 323 eligible BSPGHAN members. We found just over 51%, just under 51% were female respondents, and they were just slight majority aged between 35 to 44 years. The vast majority of people were completing 1 to 4 hours of endoscopy a week. And that was followed shortly by a group who are doing 5 to 10 hours of endoscopy a week. Now, in terms of the rate of endoscopy-related injury, this is where we found the most significant results. Females were significantly more likely to have experienced an endoscopy-related injury than their male counterparts, of 69.7% to 37.5%. Furthermore, endoscopists who do not practice weight or resistance-based exercises regularly versus those who do were found to be significantly more likely to experience ERI as well, 68.8% to 39.4%. We found no significant differences in consultants versus non-consultants, in those older or younger, in those who practiced cardiovascular exercise or not, or in those who practice water-assisted colonoscopy or not. In terms of the most common injuries we found that hand and digit pain were most common, followed by backache, arm pain, and neck ache. And just under 20% of respondents had to take analgesia for their ERI in the past. Now, these numbers do sort of make sense when you come to what people's experience of ergonomics had been previous to the questionnaire, where only 13.9% had training in ergonomics or endoscopy-related injury before, and only 6.2% had discussed ergonomics in their theatre brief. And bear in mind, that includes things like positioning of the table, positioning of the patient, and needing to move the patient during the procedure. So this is the first UK-wide, nationwide study of ergonomics and ERI amongst paediatric endoscopists. And as I've mentioned, we found that over half of paediatric endoscopists had experience in ERI before, most commonly the injuries that we mentioned: hand and digit pain, backache, arm pain, and neck ache. The vast majority had never had training in ergonomics, and significantly, women and endoscopists who don't perform resistance-based exercises were significantly more likely to experience endoscopy-related injury. And as we suggested earlier, we think this should provide the impetus for the development of training and guidelines in ergonomics to reduce the risk of occupational injury amongst UK-based paediatric endoscopists, because this is something we have to do for the entirety of our career, and so reducing our risk early on is key to healthy, happy, and fruitful careers in paediatric endoscopy. Thank you.